to dig for the heel. Okay, so what is digging for the heel? Digging for the heel is like, all right, so right now I don't have a heel hook. Right now I do have a heel hook. That's called a dig, okay? So let's look at the very basics of digging, okay? So when I don't have a secondary leg, we're gonna look at that later, but when I don't have the secondary leg controlled, even when I do, we're usually gonna transfer to the mechanics we're gonna look at now. First, I wanna make what we call a shotgun grip. We call this a single action shotgun grip. Okay, so you look, I'm grabbing the calf. It's like a barrel of a shotgun, right? So I'm gonna have this. The reason we have this is it does two things. It positions my elbow kind of where the toes are. You see where my elbow and his toes are? And the second thing is it makes it so that it's very hard for him to put his toes on the floor. If he can get this, you basically can't get a heel hook, because here, I'll keep your toes on the floor. I can't get under the foot. But if I have this, if I have a single action shotgun grab, his toes can't go on the floor because my elbow's in the way, okay? Here, there's nothing in the way. You're essentially putting your elbow underneath his toes. Do you guys see where my elbow is? If we turn this way a little bit, if you continue to hide the heel, my elbow would be in between his toes and the floor. Okay, so that's the basic goal of a single action shotgun grip, okay? In jiu-jitsu. Anyway, now I want to have something gripping when I go for the actual dig. So I'm going to take this hand. You can have it grab almost anywhere on the leg. I could just go here. The best spot, in my opinion, would be here. So keep hiding the heel though. Yeah, would be like here. Okay, somewhere along the heel or the foot. Okay, now, and not too hard. Yeah, good. We're here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my elbow. I release the single action shotgun grip with my right hand, and my elbow is gonna push the toes. Yeah, not too hard. Yeah, I don't want to hurt you. I'm gonna push my elbow into the toes. So basically think of it like this. So without the legs being involved, I'm gonna be here. Now I reach, you can go here. It depends on how tall they are. Some guys are really tall and you cannot get this, right? Okay, you can settle for like this. Just you need something holding onto the leg, because if I do if I went like this, that's gonna happen, right? I'm holding the leg, and then if I just dig for it, it's just gonna fall, right? So what you want is, look, and it's very simple, but it's important, right? So we're here. Now I'll hide just a little bit. I'm gonna grip. Ideally, I'd grab here, but again, that you can't guarantee that. It depends on their body type. Now I take my wrist. I'm not gonna dig like this. This is a very common mistake. This is not a good dig. If you've been following so far, you could probably guess why, because look where my elbow is. That's not good. I wanna dig like this. My forearm is lined up with my elbow, and then my elbow is gonna push the toes back. And then that, coupled with pulling on the heel, look what happens. The toes go behind the heel, okay? You're pushing the toes behind the heel. And then you catch. The way I want you to think about this as we're practicing it now, do not dig, do not like actually go to grip the heel with your wrist. Don't wait until it's available. Wait until it would be almost impossible to miss it. Okay, so like if I go here, I could get it. And then you could make it tighter, right? Sure, absolutely. Or he might slip. Instead, I want you to think like this. Push it so far back that if you, like, how could you miss that? It's right there. Right? It's so projected, it's unreal, okay? We're here, I push. I push the toes super far back with my elbow. Then I catch, and then I simply maintain my elbow position, right? So if you look at, I push. Look at where my elbow is. I'm pushing the toes very far back. Okay, this is the foot position that we want. Now I just put my wrist there and I keep my elbow where it is by compressing the elbow into the ribs. So we've done this, and I just keep the same position. I just keep the same position. And now I intensify the elbow coming into my ribs and the wrist going that way. Okay, so with the leg position, you can practice, like this is a totally valid way to practice this. You can practice this without the legs, right? If you guys want to do that at first to get a sense for this, you go here, and catch, and then focus on pulling this way and the elbow this way. Okay, that's a totally fine way to practice this. Okay, so I go to here, I grip, catch, and again, we got to make sure this is correct as well, the hips. So do this, and now we did a very solid dig. Another place you can grip is right here, right? Let's say maybe you feel like you can't grip there. You could go here and catch like that, okay? Actually, for now, let's just stick to this. We'll do that one later. Just grip here, the heel, push, and then you've got it. And then you can practice the same finish we did before. You see how my hips here too far away, okay? So I'm gonna shimmy my hips sort of out and then towards them. As I use this hand on the floor, my left shoulder goes forward, right shoulder goes back, elbow comes to my ribs, wrist rotates that way, and then you've got it. Okay, and then if you want another grip, you can use a bunch of grips. My favorite is just a simple gable grip with this forearm over the shin, like this. Very simple, not a fancy grip, just a very basic gable grip, but with the elbow here. And now, very, very powerful. Okay, makes sense, guys? Any questions? All right, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. Okay, guys, now let's look at a digging sequence that is really effective and he has good defense. Okay, so what is your name again? Dennis. What does Dennis want to do to defend here? What he wants to do is, okay, so we've talked about the toes and the heel. He wants the toes in front of the heel. If he can do this before I get the heel hook, it's very hard to dig. If he can do it after I get the heel hook, he can slip. But if he does it before I get the heel hook, I might not even get the heel hook. It's gonna be hard. And if he rotates, so come up onto that knee. If he rotates, now his toes on the floor, it's gonna be really hard to push the toes behind the heel because there's no space to fit my elbow and tricep into, right? So we made the shotgun grip before to block that, but sometimes he beats you. He goes, okay, he beat me to it. I didn't get my elbow underneath his foot. So what are we gonna do? Well, one thing we can do, this doesn't always work because he doesn't always give this reaction, but sometimes we can do what's called a counter spin. So he's gonna spin, or an over rotation. So he spins this way. I grip the knee and look, I kind of let my legs go. And now, I'll keep going. I let him continue to spin, and as he spins, keep going, I catch the heel on the rotation. This seems like, I think, sort of silly almost, but man, you will be surprised how effective this is. Okay, because what's happening is, this move works off of the basis of, what does he want to do? He wants to spin. Right? And what a lot of people are thinking is, and this is an intelligent thought, is let's pretend that's the boundary. He sees that line. He goes, we roll out of the bounds, what's gonna happen? The ref's gonna stand us up, and then maybe we lose the position. I have seen in pretty high level tournaments, people roll out of bounds and the refs just like stand out. He just doesn't care, right? So, I mean, it makes sense. You think to yourself, if I just get there, I get out of bounds, I could maybe get out of this. Not always, depends on the ref, but it could happen, right? Does that make sense, guys? So he's like, okay, I want to fucking get over there. So he's spinning hard. We're gonna let him spin, but we're gonna do two things. I'm gonna have my hand here on the top of the thigh, and I'm not gonna keep my legs inside. And I'm gonna keep my hand, so this hand goes here. So I'm not letting him free his knee from my knee line. I'm keeping that. And I'm still holding onto his leg. So we'll just show without the legs so you guys can just see what happens to my right arm. As he spins, look, he's putting his heel in my arm. Keep going. Look, he put his heel there. Right? You see where he is now? Look, he gave that to me. The reason is because if we go back, so this is a concept called the knee bar theory of heel exposure. Okay? This is another way to think about digging for the heel. If he spins all the way, right, and we stop right here, his knee is facing towards my hips just like it would be in a knee bar. You see where his heel is, I can catch the heel very easily. So anytime his knee faces towards my hips, it's very easy to capture the heel. So I call this the knee bar theory of heel exposure. So sometimes you know, you can also use this concept. You can go for a knee bar and then chain to a heel hook. That's pretty common. A good example of that was Fabricio Andre at Brazilian Trials. This was a really nice match. I don't remember who the opponent was. He shot his hips up to a knee bar. It was kind of like, it was like here. It was pretty tight, but the guy kept spinning, and then he just switched to a heel. Okay, so that's another way we can use this same concept. Okay, but for here, let's go here. So I used this yesterday on Adam. Adam is a really good Malaysian competitor. He's really good at barambolos. He's strong. He has good wrestling. I've seen him compete before. He has a good, he knows how to hide the heel. Okay? So I had a couple different thoughts on things I would try to do. One of the things I tried to do was I gripped the foot, and I was gonna pass it outside for an outside heel hook, but when I got this, he started to turn too much this way, and I was like, okay, it just didn't feel like I was gonna get it, so I went back to this. I gripped here, I felt him spin, and I let him keep going, and I caught the heel, and then there it was a little different. He was pushing on this leg, so instead I switched to here. This is a slightly different position, but it's the same concept, okay? The point is, when someone is rotating, we can let them go. Like, look, if I keep my legs inside, he rotates, I'm gonna be forced to rotate with him. Okay, let's go back. But if he rotates, I go here, I stop right here, stop, come back, stop right here. Look, he can spin now, and I'm not gonna spin with him. The point is to let him spin and not spin with him. But holding his knee, if I don't hold his knee and he spins, yeah, he's gonna get out, right? So let's go back. I hold here, so I let him spin. I caught the heel, and now he keeps spinning, and now you've got the heel hook. You can start leaning this way and getting your finish. Okay, does this make sense, guys? Any questions before we give this a try? Okay, question?
Yeah. So if he's not just spinning, but he's trying to spin and extract that knee line, kick out, right? Do I need a tighter grip? Do I need to go in for an overhook, or is that knee grab just? This
is pretty good. I think just holding here is usually enough. But what you might have to do is what I did with Adam is so he spun a little bit, and then he took. So what Adam did was, if I remember correctly, he went here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And then he was pushing, and I let him go, and then I caught here. He kept this here. And then I don't remember exactly what happened. You're gonna have to be here. You'll have to be creative. Look, I've got the heel, right? Maybe you go to outside Senkaku. It depends on where can you get your legs. Where is he pushing? You can push this out of the way. Maybe you get back here. What I eventually did was I went to a rush. This is called a Russian ashi. Okay, I have no idea why. That's just what I'm doing.
The Russian cowboy position. The reverse mount, I would assume. You know, yeah, they used to call that Russian cowboy with the reverse mount.
Oh, okay. All right. So there you go. Maybe that's why. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just know I've seen Marvin Castell call it this. So I just started calling it that too. So yeah, in that case, that was just where it felt like I could get my legs. I opened up here and I was like, oh, there's space. I just wanted to grip him with something, right? Because you can go here and then you can use his hand to get back here, or maybe go here, right? The key is, with the heel hook at a high level, is you can't always finish in the same position. Sometimes you're gonna have to go here, sometimes you'll have to go here, sometimes you'll have to go here. You can finish someone with this. This is still really strong. And what I like about this is you're holding both of his legs with one of your legs. It does weaken the hip pressure. It's not quite as tight, but it's still pretty tight, right? Yeah, you can still get a break with this for sure, right? Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so again, we'll go here. So this is the kind of thing where I can't give a 1, 2, 3, always do this type of thing, because there are many things he can do. The key would be just your legs go out here, he spins. Now I'm holding here. Now look, there's a bunch of different things he could try to do with this leg. Let's say he goes here. Maybe I have to then put this foot here, hip out, and then go backside 50-50 type stuff, right? It's just gonna depend. But for simplicity's sake now, let's come back. Just focus on your feet kind of being out here somewhere, holding here, he spins. Look, that's the main thing I want you to focus on. And then so for instance, he might go here and go, oh fuck, I fucked up, I should not have done that. And then you have to spin with him this way, right? There's a bunch of different things that can happen. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could give you a comprehensive every single situation.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions before we give this a try? All right, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3.